Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the City of Laredo Historic District Landmark Board. It's June 13th, 2024, and it's 12:02 p.m. May we have the
Roll call?
Yes.
We'll be happy to. Rebecca Sepulveda,
Present.
Tomasi Segueda, Roberto D. Gonzalez, Teresa Barker, Cristina Davila Villarreal, Wayne Nance,
Here.
Francisco Paco Barrientos,
Here.
Priscilla Iglesias, and Mark Gonzalez.
Here.
For the record, you do have quorum.
I would like to invite the members to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes, and I hope those present have already had an opportunity to review them. Is there a motion to approve, or are there any modifications?
And that's the quorum one. Oh, yes, sir. I'll second them. Oh, I have to move to approve.
So there's a motion and a second to approve the minutes of August 10th, 2023, and March 14th, 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Item 5, citizen comments.
We don't have anybody registered for citizen comments at this time.
Okay. Item 6, public hearing and consideration of the following. A motion to consider exterior alterations which include the creation and addition of a door and 2 windows on the east side of the building on lots 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, Block 34, Western Division, located at 1016 Iturbide Street, Suite 9. This property is within the Old Mercado District. So we have, do we need to open the public hearing?
We have a brief presentation. If you prefer, we could go through the presentation and then we can open up the public hearing.
Let's do that.
From the public.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Right here we have granting or denying an application as per the Laredo Land Development Code, Section 24.1.2.22. The Historic District Landmark Board should utilize the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation and illustrated guidelines for rehabilitating historic buildings and the City of Laredo, Texas Historic Urban Design Guidelines. A handout was provided with the Secretary of the Interior standards. However, there are additional guidelines for review.
Thank you.
Let me, for the record, we have the applicant, American Properties Agency, Incorporation. Owner, we have Jamshed Yerushlami, which is also known as Jimmy. As the applicant, we have Pedro A. Avila as the representative. Property location is lot 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, Block 34, Western Division, located at 1016 Iturbide Street, Suite 9. This property is within the Old Mercado Historic District. The building type is considered to be early 20th century commercial style as per the Historic Urban Design Assessment Report. Applicant request is the creation of a new opening, which includes the addition of a door and 2 windows located on the east facade of the building. The applicant indicated the proposed door and windows have similar materials, which consist of insulated glass and metal, to the existing door and windows located on Iturbide Street. Letters sent for 38, we have none for and none against. Aerial view. Front view of 1016 Iturbide Street. East view of 1016 Iturbide Street. We have the site plan. Let me go.
I think our batteries are dying.
Yes. Here's the site plan. The arrow indicates the location of the proposed addition of the new door and the two windows, right where the circle is at.
Can you forward
Yeah.
it from the podium?
Yes.
Bear with us. Technical difficulties here.
We have the elevation view. Here we have the applicant's proposed location of the door and the two windows. And here we also have, if approved, staff recommendations of the door and two windows, which would be at this location. The proposed rendering and staff recommendation is staff does not support the exterior alterations, which includes the creation and addition of a new opening with the door and two windows located on the east facade of the building, approximately 32 feet from the existing door at the entrance of the building, for the following reasons. The first one is cutting new openings on character-defining elevations or cutting openings that damage or destroy significant features is not recommended, as per the guidelines of the interior standards for rehabilitation and illustrated guidelines for rehabilitating historic buildings. And the second comment is, as per the City of Laredo Historic Urban Design Guidelines, storefronts should not be altered or obscured. Therefore, the addition of the door and two windows will alter the storefront and diminish the building's historic character. And the third comment is, the addition of a door and two windows where none have previously existed alters the historic character of the building and is inconsistent with the City of Laredo Historic Urban Design Guidelines, which recommend the preservation of the integrity of each individual historic district structure by preserving its character-defining features and by avoiding alterations that would remove or obscure its historic character. Staff recommendation, if approved, staff recommends the following. The location of the proposed door and windows be centered on the east side of the building, and the proposed door and windows shall resemble the storefronts located on Iturbide Street. Staff general comments. Any improvements which are approved by the Historic District Landmark Board should also comply with all building code requirements and other regulations as provided in the Laredo Land Development Code. Approval by the Historic District Landmark Board does not guarantee approval of a building permit or any other permit which may be required. It is recommended that all existing improvements utilize the following resources as a guide: the Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation and Guidelines for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings, the City of Laredo Historic Urban Design Guidelines, and the City of Laredo Historic Preservation Plan. No other improvements, changes to the building site, or new construction on the property shall be permitted without prior review and approval by staff and/or Historic District Landmark Board to meet compliance. And as per the Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation and Illustrated Guidelines for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings, all proposed scope of work should be physically and visually compatible to the original materials as features of the historic structure. And the proposed motion for the request of the application number HD002-2024 for the creation and addition of a door and two windows on the east side of the building on lots 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, Block 34, Western Division, located at 1016 Iturbide Street, Suite 9.
Thank you. If we have questions, should we open the public hearing?
Yeah, we should open the public hearing.
All right. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
I move to open the public hearing.
A second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? May I proceed? I have a question.
Yeah, if anybody would like to speak for or against, we might want to invite the public to approach.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Sí consiste, como dice, mi Daytree viene siendo dos windows a media altura, both sides, y la puerta
Apologize. Can he identify himself for the record?
Sí, por favor, si pueden identificarse.
Ah, sí, mi nombre es Pedro Ávila. Soy el aplicante de Mr. Yameshi, de esta dirección, 1016 Iturbide Street. Ah, sí, sorry. Y
¿Usted
perdón.
va a ocupar el edificio o va a elaborar el desarrollo de él?
Yo hago los planos, ¿verdad?
Es cierto.
Exactamente.
Perdona. Es el otro
El otro
micrófono. El otro.
No, allá
No,
donde
es-
está de rojo,
es-
sí.
Ah,
Eso,
Muy bien.
eso, mero.
Sí, yo realizo los planos,
Oh, sí.
exactamente, y el cliente ya tiene su constructor. Entonces es seguir a los códigos y aquí tengo una ilustración.
You wanna help him? Un minuto.
Sí.
Déjame que lo ayude, lo va a poner en
muy bien.
la pantalla para que se pueda ver.
Sí, gracias. Bueno,
Es que a ver.
It's too big. That's what he's saying.
¿Que está muy grande?
está un poquito... ¿Cómo quiere estar
I can maybe come and help us.
He's trying to adjust it.
He's gonna adjust it.
He's trying to. Should be there. There.
Ah, there you go. Ándale.
Sí. Bueno, se propuso inicialmente el acceso en esta área porque si observan el interior, tenemos un siting area, bueno, son dos realmente, y es el lugar un poquito más propicio, accesible, porque de este lado tenemos lo que es la barra, por ese lado, entonces por esa razón se propuso en esa ubicación. Correcto. Y viene siendo lo que es la ilustración. Si observan, está un poquito cargado hacia el lado de aquí, de este opening del frontal. Es correcto.
¿Tiene más información?
Elaboramos unos planos también de un ingeniero estructural los tengo aquí en el binder, porque al tiempo de abrir el opening se tiene que reforzar.
Sí.
Y se puso un refuerzo, un ángulo calculado por el ingeniero para antes de demoler, reforzar bien, que no haya movimiento, sobre todo de la fachada, de la estructura. Ujú. Sí, es correcto.
Muy bien. ¿Puedo preguntar qué es el propósito de la nueva puerta?
Sí, claro que sí. El propósito de la nueva puerta no va a actuar como exit emergency, porque sería más que nada para el uso interior de la discoteca, del inmueble, que salgan hacia afuera, pero no como un exit emergency, porque necesitaría otro tipo de hardware, me estaba comentando los Fire Department. Entonces, nomás como un acceso secundario, más no de salida. Ya existe una de salida al fondo, hacia el norte, y pues la entrada, el entry y el exit de la parte frontal. Es correcto.
Entonces, ¿el uso del espacio no requiere que haya segunda entrada o salida?
Realmente es muy pequeño, solo que se hizo para el área de fumar, que salga un poco afuera para hacer, que no sea muy resguardado hacia el interior. Por esa razón se creó esa área. No sé si-
Yes.
My name is Jamshid Yerushalmi. I'm one of the representatives there. And the purpose of doing this is to have parklet on Tetangelo. So for the person to have the parklet, We don't have that one, he's already in the city. He already applied for that and to take his furniture inside and outside. The promises already have the exit door, it has the front door, and it's working. We are doing it only to bring the difference and different look into Tangelo. And have parklet right there also.
So that requires a separate permit to do,
That one is separate permit from city.
to do a parklet?
Yes, ma'am, they have
Ms.
to.
Guerra, could you explain that to us?
I do believe you have your parklet permit already, correct?
We are waiting for that because of this.
Oh, okay. But have you submitted for it?
Yes,
We-
ma'am, it's
we
under
had
19.
gotten a bit of information about the parklet, but really our concern was more so with the door and not necessarily the parklet. So
That's true.
we didn't do much investigation to the parklet.
What's a parklet?
It's I don't know if you've ever seen that maybe a conversion of a parking space, and they'll put tables, chairs,
Oh.
sort of a fence,
Okay.
maybe
okay.
some planters.
Outside seating.
To, to provide
Extending
outside
the
seating.
sidewalk for public use?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay, so then the entrance will have a function in that respect?
I believe that
Nothing
the
will
applicant has
change.
mentioned that it's a direct access to their parklet, like, facility. But again, the front door, we thought was pretty close to the parklet.
Yes.
So it wasn't a significant distance that would preclude the parklet visitors from being able to access it. So, and that coupled with the other items that we mentioned, resulted in us not being able to support it, as we stated.
I understand.
Why so close to the existing front door?
I'm sorry,
Why is it so close to the existing front door? It's just right around the
because
corner.
right after that is the bar. It's already there.
Oh,
The bar building a couple of years ago, and it goes all. I'm sorry, I have to put this. The bar is right there, and that's the only space is right there. And if you look at it, we have a problem right next to it. Can we have that picture again?
Can you put up the overhead?
internal
We
diagram.
have a problem right there. There is a city meter, electrical, is right there. If they have the furniture, it has to go way back there to bring it, and it's
That
problem.
overhead?
It's right there.
Yes.
Right on the side, you can see it.
Forgive me for speculating.
It's a big meter on the street.
Isn't that a vault right there, an underground vault? That's steel? Is that a
These
place
are
where you're gonna wanna put a
removed.
parklet?
These is gonna be removed by month or so by another. They're fixing the streets all over to Tangelo, and it will be there.
I believe what the applicant is referring to is the TERS.
Exactly.
The TERS organization is, there's a project where they're doing sidewalk and street enhancements to a number of locations. I believe this is one of the locations.
Exactly. You can see it all over the sidewalk. They marked it down.
They're gonna
I
remove
think
this
they're
vault?
gonna be doing pavers and redoing the sidewalks and other sort of street type improvement.
But this vault, I mean, an underground vault, is it gonna be removed, do you know?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think it's gonna be underground improvements. I could be wrong, but my understanding it's that it's surface. So, providing ADA and, fixing broken sidewalks wherever necessary and providing sort of decorative pavers, wayfinding signage, monuments, decorative monuments, that sort of thing.
It just seems like putting a table and chairs for enjoying yourself on top of a metal electric vault doesn't seem desirable location.
And that may play a factor into the issuance of the parklet permit. I'm not positive about that. We really, again, did not investigate the parklet.
I won't go there. The interior, the way you're describing it, it would be very helpful. I think you had an interior layout of your suite that is there a wall separating your front door from this? Like there's no access? Is it a full bar wall? I'm trying to understand the
yes,
interior layout. I haven't been in this place in
Foto
years.
dentro.
I think you can see it right there, right?
Yes,
Yeah, right there,
Ah,
that
Right there, right?
diagram.
Oh,
No, you had
Can you
it.
put it back down? Right there, so you can see.
I'm trying to understand, is there a physical wall?
Here, and this location here,
Can you scoot it up?
Can you push it up a little bit so you can see? There you go.
right here, there is a empty space outside, which they can put a couple of chairs and table. And the wall start from here, and the door is right here, and it goes all the way to the back side and the exit. And here, what we're gonna do the opening to turn the tables, chairs to go there. And obviously it's gonna be fences they're gonna make, and those fences, they are long, and that's why we are making this door to take them in. And the one we were talking about, underground, is not underground. This side of it, you see the underground there, but on the side there is a meter
Inside.
by the street. And doesn't have nothing to do with the building, and it's far. It's about 10 feet away. That's meter for the city. We don't have nothing to do with it.
Okay. I'm just trying to establish whether the existing front door doesn't have access. Like, why can't they use the existing front door to access the site?
Right.
And I'm not understanding that.
And I
By the
established that
sidewalk
it's not
is a meter.
required, secondary exit.
It's not required by the
So-
fire department.
So we are just looking for something that will enhance that parklet kind
Okay.
of feeling.
Yeah.
But, from my point of view, we're doing something permanent to a structure for the purpose of something that may not be a permanent use.
I agree.
So, does anyone have any more questions of the petitioner or the?
Yes. The staff recommended if a secondary door was allowed, to put it closer to the middle of the building, but you said that would not function correctly for you?
No,
No, not at all. It's here or
no,
or
because
no?
it's already the bar there.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right. I don't have,
And that's the space we have empty. So,
okay.
Any other questions for the petitioner or for staff?
Talking about the door, also, I mean, I understand the purpose of a window, but what will be to open up the space for the windows for a permanent structure like that? Like, if you just need a door to go in and out for the convenience of the parklet, why the windows?
to make the building look better, because the same thing is cross 10 feet. And already there is a parklet there by next corner, which is 15, 20 feet away from each other, and to make the city look good. And that's all.
Yeah, because that building that you're talking about naturally has always been, I think, right? Naturally, it's always been like a showcase, like window It's always, was it like that before?
No, this building, no.
No, the one across
Oh,
the
the
street,
one
the one
across
he's
the
talking
street.
No,
Yes.
it wasn't like that.
about. It wasn't like that?
They did it a couple of years ago.
They added the windows.
They added the whole thing. I
The
mean,
whole-
they renewed the whole building after we done the American property. And my neighbor, she joined us to do it, and she has a very nice bar over there.
Yeah.
And we made the whole 1016 into a bar, and cross the street and other corner, we did a lot of those.
I think my comment for that is that that building looks natural, you know, like the windows and
So they
everything.
did it from,
No, I mean, the aesthetics look like if they were already, they've been there for a long time. To me, this looks like we just adding a door and a window.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, let's just add it because we need to walk through it, as opposed to enhancing the building.
And it has
you
a
know.
canopies as
it's to make the area look much, much better, like Europe, like other cities.
Sure, I do understand the concept. As a design wise, to me, it seems like it was just slapped in there. Maybe if it looked a lot more natural of the building, of the time period, or whatever it might be, that would enhance that, not just a door into windows, because we need a door into windows. It's more like an enhancement that just adapts to the time period of the building.
No,
Yeah.
obviously the door is for bringing the furniture in and out,
Sure.
because the fences, they are heavy, and they have to take them every night in, and they have to bring them out. So,
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I understand the purpose for it. I just don't see the enhancement of the building, which I think that's what we're concerned, right?
Any other questions?
and we had, I'm sorry, we had engineer Mr. Danda,
Víctor de Anda.
Victor Danda, and he did everything, I mean, and he put signature and is already in the city, and we are waiting only for historical. And it's already 9 months, unfortunately last time. The board members, they couldn't be here, so we had to leave, and I was out, so today is the day.
I understand.
Okay, so, do we have a, motion to close the public hearing and to take action on the request?
I move to close the public hearing.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So we can do the, well, is there a motion to respond to the petitioner's request, the applicant's request? We have staff recommendations, and I feel that their interpretation of the Department of Interior standards is correct. Basically, you don't mess with doors and windows on historic buildings. That is like the very basic preservation method. So we,
I will move to go with staff's recommendation and deny this permit.
we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion and second to deny the petitioner's request and to support staff recommendation. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So we unfortunately are not in approval.
May I ask why?
Pardon me?
May I ask the gentleman why?
As Chairman Becky pointed out, it goes against the historic rules for introducing a door. Well, for the comments that staff explained in their 3 points, that it goes against what this commission was appointed to protect. And the options that they provided don't work for you. And so it's either go against the Historic Commission's directives or to allow. And so we're moving to go with staff. We believe that they made a recommendation, and I understand staff did their homework. And I was agreeing with staff, and I believe the rest of this board, this
we
commission
support
did.
that,
And we
correct.
supported that.
And we support you in your efforts to try to bring new life to this area of downtown.
Man, I
But
did
we
so much
cannot-
in downtown. This is not my first building I did.
We
I
appreciate
did
that.
another. No,
Yes,
if you wouldn't appreciate it, you would go along with me to do more.
well, we
And
need
I
to do
had
more
to do
with,
that.
I think we closed the public hearing.
Yes.
So if you'd like to open the public hearing, again, to allow them to continue their remarks, but the public hearing is closed.
is closed, yes. Well, we're just trying to explain to the petitioner that his purpose is applauded, that we want these buildings to have new life and these neighborhoods to have new life. But we have to respect the building, and that's the bottom line. That's why we are here, and we're trying to do the best we can within the guidelines and in respect to the historic buildings that we have, which you're a good steward of, and we hope that you continue to take good care of these buildings because they are our history. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
We move on to item 7, election of officers.
Madam Chair, we would need to wait until we had a full board sitting in order to elect officers. So unfortunately, it's our recommendation that we will have to bring back the election of officers to the next meeting. Hopefully at that time, we'll have everyone seated at that time. So the officers will remain until such time as we can seat everyone.
Well, I can see that recommendation has been longstanding.
That's
but-
correct.
But we've had these vacancies for a long time. Is there an update on these position vacancies?
It's not necessarily the vacancies, it's that we don't have the full board present. Because all members serve until reappointed. It's not that we have vacancies, it's that they're not present.
Okay,
Okay? I hope that helps.
oh, it does.
So if we don't have the board ever together,
Yeah,
until
then
you're
the officer
replaced.
will stay there forever, right? Until you're dismissed.
No, well, see,
I mean, that's what I'm saying, we
no,
don't
that
have
doesn't
all the
make sense.
officers
Yeah, all
present.
That doesn't make sense,
The
you're
rules
right.
indicate that any serving board member who, the council member who's appointed them has left, they will serve until the new board member, or the new council member reappoints.
Sure.
So, but that would not preclude that person from voting for, or sitting to serve on the committee. And I should probably recheck this. I'll probably recheck it for our next meeting. But that is our understanding. In this case, that the recommendation not to vote is that the other board members are not present. Typically, we would want all the board members here present to vote for the new chair and vice chair.
I think the positions that are not present today, their representation is not present. So I think that in the long term, they have not been present. And so what Mr. Barrientos is probably alluding to is that this will continue. And we feel like perhaps we need to take action.
You want to take action on voting on chair and vice chair?
Do you feel like you need more information, like on perhaps
What we can do is
the
check.
attendance record of the people who are absent so that we can predict perhaps they're not going to return and we better vote because we are the body?
We can do that. We can provide that information to the board.
Can we do that for next meeting?
That's correct. We
And
sure
then we'll
can.
be better prepared to take
To
action.
get that, absolutely. Unless there's any other, I don't think we have anything else. I just wanted to take a moment and welcome Ms. Teresa Barker to the commission.
Hello.
I was able to spend a little bit of time with Ms. Barker. We, as you know, we give a little orientation to all of our incoming board members. And, you know, I was very happy to hear of her background. So I really, well, you know, thank for her service and welcome her aboard. And maybe you could, you know, maybe sort of introduce yourself and give us a little bit of your background.
Hi, my name is Teresa Barker. I am an architect, registered architect in the state of Texas, and I'm currently working at Able City. And very excited to be on this board. And I moved back from San Antonio just a couple of years ago, so I'm happy to be back in my hometown and help out in any way that I can.
It's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Welcome and thank you for serving. Okay. Any other, oh, and we need to also congratulate and thank Ms. Guevara for her position, her role.
I guess I should give just a little bit of an update on that. I'm sure maybe y'all know, maybe you don't. Council and city leadership is making great strides in you know, pursuing greater efficiencies in our organization. And to that end, what we've done is council and with on the recommendations of management has merged planning department with building department. So hopefully now we can work more seamlessly together and provide even better service to our community. And that's always our goal and what we're shooting for. So that's where we are, you know, in our organization. So building division will become a division of planning. So, so we're all a big happy family.
You're gonna have a new director or?
All those positions are open. So there's a search for a new planning director, and we'll see how that works. And then they'll have a new assistant director of planning who it's still a work in progress. We'll see how exactly everything sort of lays out with regard to the building official and the officials overseeing our building division.
Okay, not to put you on the spot, but there's nobody here. Will you be applying, Vanessa?
Holy cow. No, nobody's here.
Well, it's all
I
right.
would definitely
Some of
consider
us-
that opportunity.
consider it.
I would be honored to serve. I would definitely be honored to serve the community in that capacity if they deem to choose me, yes.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
You're one of the first persons I met at the old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been around
Yeah.
back when I had brown hair instead of instead of white hair. See what it does to you? I know. But yeah, thank you very much for mentioning that. So we hope to, you know, improve service, create a more seamless and easier experience for our customers, and in all facets in the planning and building services.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as always, thank you for your service. Without your participation and dedicated service, the city would not be able to provide the sort of attention to detail that is required, especially in the protection of our historic resources. So thank you again. With that, we don't have anything else.
I feel for the petitioner because I understand, well, I've been in one or two meetings that he had projects on and there was no quorum. And so he's frustrated with the process. So I think we really need to
Just
do
as
our
a-
best to try to
Just a
attend
little bit of
meetings.
background for that. We do understand that at the last meeting, there was no quorum. However, we did offer to make arrangements to bring the item forward to the very next city council meeting. I believe he refused it because he was gonna be out of town. Is that, am I correct? Right? And then we, again, offered to bring it back to the very next either council meeting or historic meeting. But the applicant mentioned that he was gonna be out of town, and he chose this month and this meeting. So it's been a bit of time for him, but it was sort of at his direction.
So that building on Flores, there has been no action on his request?
Permit-wise, with regard to the door?
No, the one that he was trying to open a new door on the second story.
Oh, it went to council. The one with the windows? Is that the one?
Yeah, the one on Flores, yes.
The one with the windows and the door? I think it was approved, right?
Yes.
At council?
Oh.
It was approved, but the door wasn't approved, right?
Yes.
The door was not approved on the second floor because it had never been a door. So,
Right.
but the windows were approved.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So he owns several buildings downtown, and I guess it's a good thing that someone's investing in
That's
our
correct.
community.
That is
Well,
correct.
Is there any other,
I'd like to make a comment, not so much on the building, but on, board member attendance. What is, I mean, do we have scheduled meetings or do they just?
Yes, we do. Our meetings are held every second Thursday of the month. It's the regular,
Every month.
every month. There is this regularly scheduled meeting. However, if we have no applications, we advise the members that we don't have any applications to come forward. And again, just to remind the board, if there is no quorum, the Code of Ordinances allows for those items to be placed on the very next council meeting, so that we don't delay unnecessarily any of these projects. And that's what happened in the case of the last board meeting.
And then as far as, giving notice to the board members, I know it's every second Thursday, I mean, now they're saying every second Thursday of the month. How far in advance do you advise board members, like through emails and phone calls or whatever it is?
Well, I mean, it's a regularly scheduled meeting, so we're assuming that the board members have it on their calendar from the beginning of the year.
Glitter and all kinds of stuff on it too.
However, we begin sending out the packet, the advisory a week in advance. When we post our packet is typically Fridays. And we send that out to all the board members on the Friday before the Thursday of the meeting. And then we'll help me out. I know we call either the day before to start seeking quorum to see if, people are going to be attending. And then I think we do another reminder the day of,
Yes.
So.
I'll find you.
Yes.
Okay.
and on the subject of items on the agenda, this is something that was discussed in previous board.
I do want us to just be a little bit careful because I don't want to discuss too much that's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
That's
I
not on the
understand
agenda, so I
that.
don't want to stray too far away.
In the past, we have asked for there to be items such as new business or the opportunity for board members to call and request an item to be placed on the agenda because we used to be a proactive board that developed like projects such as naming new historic buildings that are city designated, or making changes to the ordinance, or changing language to the ordinance so that we would have, a little more leeway in our discussion of properties. But we can't have those conversations on this board unless there's an item on the agenda allowing us to do that. And so we get a call, there's no petitions, so there's no meeting, where we could have taken advantage of that meeting opportunity to have a discussion about something that we're concerned about that relates to a historic neighborhood or to the ordinance or to the way we're interpreting it. Things change, and this board has been around for over 30 years, and I've been involved in it for a long time, and the way that we are presenting is changed. The way we interpret is changed. I was telling Ms. Guerra earlier that the historic nonprofit in town had resources, and they would bring advocacy for the building, which is like a third, what is it, viewpoint, point of view. We have the staff recommendation, we have the board, which comes from community to make the decision, but who's speaking for the building itself, right? What is the history of this particular building? It's a commercial building. What happened to the windows, or who owned it, or who worked there, or who lived there? That is going to enrich our interpretation of the request and our ability to make a decision that's best for the building in this moment in time. At some moment in time,
I'm sorry,
somebody
go ahead.
closed the windows here, which is not correct.
Yes, and,
But-
and that's what we would have, had we seen maybe an indication that they wanted to open those windows, then we would have been, much more favorably inclined, because we could see that they had already existed at some point. Just on the topic of the buildings themselves and the history, and that's one of the things that we've done just recently. We scoured our files to identify the two historic resource surveys that we were able to find. I think we had one from the 80s and one from the 90s. And during this budget cycle, we are approaching our council to allocate funds so that we could do another historic resource survey, because it's 30 years, there have been a lot of changes. The document that we have only digital versions, so we don't have the benefit of color on those pictures. So we want to go ahead and inventory all of our historic resources in our historic districts, so that we can have all that information of exactly what they look like now, what is the style, and be able to compare it through those other surveys, so that we can see any changes and give even better analysis. So we hear you, and we're hoping to make strides in that area.
So in this particular case, we don't know what this function of this building was, or what.
In our communication, we
history of the
indicated the style of the building. That's what we had on our resource survey. It was a commercial style, and that's what we went through. And we picked up what we could from that historic resource. I think that was all it had in there, correct? Or did it include any more? And see, we put everything that we had in the survey that we had currently, and so that's why we're like, we need more.
Yeah.
We need more data.
Yeah. Thank you. I think it would have been helpful to know. I know it may have been part of Sears. But I don't know if that building was from the 50s or.
Yeah, I
prior.
completely agree. When was it built?
Yeah.
Has it been altered in the past? All of those things are factors that we want, so that we can give the best analysis
decision.
possible
Yes.
to the commission. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that was part of our priority list, asking for funds. Currently, planning department doesn't have any consulting funds. But we are asking for that. We understand the need for this and have made the case, and hopefully, council will agree with us. It's difficult. Budgets are all tight, municipal budgets are famously, tight. But we are asking for those things because we do see the need for increased information and data with regard to our historic resources.
Two things, Madam Chair. I do agree with you on a part of the agenda, like for the board to have comments or to bring up some kind of whatever concern or
Right.
or praise, whatever it is, that maybe we can do it for the next board meeting. And second, everything you just talking about, is that something that the board can vote on just to showcase support for your efforts? And that way, if we run into, I mean, I very much love the idea of doing that, but also we could be ambassadors, to really find funds and talk to city council and urge them that we do need this, you know, so I don't know if that's an item that maybe the board votes to say we support it, you know, what you're doing.
We can do that.
You know-
We can put an item on, for the next agenda, resolution to
Correct.
express support for a funding allocation for the survey.
And I mean, that just creates more support, you know, it's not just you saying it or your department, but the board is also backing you up in that. And again, we could be your ambassadors when we run into council or directors or whoever and really talk about the need of this, because I think it's an item or a budget that we need to find to figure out.
We can do that. We'll put it on for our next agenda.
There,
That being said, again, I don't want it to
Yeah.
move too far away from the
is there a
agenda.
motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, staff.